Hi there, I'm Noir. You look like you need some help with deciding whether you should buy this game or not.
Fair.
That's okay, that's what I'm here for. Well, why don't you just have a wee seat over there? I insist. Really? Sit down. So anyway, let's begin. If you're watching this video, you've probably asked yourself the question, is AI, the Somnium Files, right for me? Obviously, I understand that video games are subjective, so for some people they may enjoy one thing while others may not. I figured I would make a video on this, a little differently from my reflections on my channel. Now normally in my videos I discuss the games at length, however I've never really done a video on a recent release, so it's never really felt like an issue. For a game that just came out a few months back, I would like to take a different approach. I would like to provide you with as few spoilers as possible and help you consider whether this game might be for you. Fair warning though, while I'm aiming to reduce as much spoilers as possible, I will be showing some content from the game. Now I'll try and limit this to the first few hours of the game, but I wanted to give you some heads up. So if you've stumbled upon this game and were wondering if you should get it, then I hope we can figure out if this is the right fit for you. Now to begin with, we need to consider what type of game this is. AI, the Somnium Files, is a visual novel. Now visual novels are not particularly well known for their gameplay. In fact, they often consist of a story presented to the player who advances through it. Sometimes they can be sprinkled with quick-time events and allow the player to deviate through the story through making choices. AI is not an exception to this, as it contains both of these elements. As a result, this brings us to the first question you need to ask yourself. Would I be willing to sit through a lot of dialogue without much input? If you're more interested in pursuing gameplay over story, then perhaps this game is not for you. However, when I mention gameplay not being too prominent, I do wish to stress that this is not as limited as a few visual novels that I can think of. In fact, the game is written by Kotaro Uchikoshi, the writer for Zero Escape. If you've played this series before, which consists of 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma, then you'll likely be aware of what you'll be in store for. In fact, I believe that if you're a fan of these games, then you'll likely enjoy this game. So if you're a fan of the Zero Escape series, I would definitely consider checking this out. Now let's explore the basic premise of the game. It begins with an investigation into the murder of a woman found at an amusement park who is found tied to a horse with her eye removed. Attending these murders is Special Agent Kanami Date, a detective who is charged with investigating these murders.
I called you here to inspect the scene, Date.
Sure, boss. But inspecting dead bodies isn't usually part of the job.
Usually, no. But tonight it is.
Date is aided by his partner Aiba, an artificial intelligence that acts as his left eye. Aiba helps assist Date in his investigations, keeping a log of evidence and footage of previous events while also providing tools such as X-ray and night vision. However, the duo's investigations are not limited to just reality. Kanami Date acts as a member of Abyss, a department specialising in entering people's dreams. Some might say this is similar to Inception, but who am I to say? I've never seen it to comment.
You can enter people's dreams, Morty. It's just like that movie that you keep crowing about. You talking about Inception? That's right, Morty. This is gonna be a lot like that, except, you know, it's gonna maybe make sense.
Now often there will be times where for some reason, a person may not tell Date the truth, regardless of whether they intend to or not. To counteract this, Date can enter that person's dreams, referred to as a somnium, with the act of entering them known as syncing. These somniums often show hidden traumas that the subject doesn't wish to show, that will likely help speed the investigation along. It's a very interesting premise and, in my opinion, is rather reminiscent to how dungeons worked in both Persona 4 and 5. Now obviously I want to avoid spoilers for your sake, but I will say that I really enjoyed how the game was written and that the game is not as straightforward as you may think, and that if you're a fan of story, then definitely check this out. Now earlier I mentioned that visual novels often don't have much in the way of gameplay, and while AI the Somnium Files does feature a lot of dialogue and reading, these somniums act as the main area of gameplay. These sections of the game allow the player to control Aiba in a 3D escape to complete the Somnium in order to reach the truth behind the mysterious murder, among many other mysteries in this game. In order to do this, they need to break through several mental locks that the subject may have that prevent Date and Aiba progressing through the Somnium. Once all are broken, the duo are able to find out new information that will help them in their investigation. There is a time limit of 6 minutes for these Somniums. Date will need to solve it within this time. However, it doesn't really work out like you'd think. When the player accesses Somniums, time acts differently. As Aiba moves around the dream, the player will find that time will proceed as normal, but whenever she stops, time slows down. Think of it like Superhot, except you're not the one killing the multitude of people. The player will need to interact with specific areas of the dreams to proceed, which will normally cost them some time, indicated next to the selection. Often the player will be presented with a few options, some of which acting as red herrings. These will often eat away at the precious amount of time that Date has left. To try and counteract these, the player will sometimes find items referred to as timies. These allow Date and Aiba to reduce the amount of time to take an action. However, the player will also find dangerous timies marked in red that will actually increase time. As a result, the player needs to be careful on how they proceed through these worlds. If the player loses all their time, then the Somnium ends, and the player is asked whether he wishes to replay from a specific mental lock or to restart the entire thing. At first I wasn't too sure of these sections, but over time I began to appreciate them more for the puzzle solving aspect, although at times they can be random and can result in a lot of trial and error. They can also be quite stressful. Imagine sitting a school exam and being told you have 30 seconds left before time's up. Also, there's a bomb in the centre of the room that's about to go off at the same time.
Bomb has been planted.
Also, you forgot to wear clothes. It's not ideal, and enough to make any person panic, but it also sets the tone of desperation and urgency and makes your decisions matter. At least, some of them anyway.
Leave it to me. The gate hurts more than I do.
Doubt it.
The interactions during investigations and the Somnium sequences make up the bulk of the gameplay. If you're absolutely fine with this, then you'll likely enjoy this game, but for some people, this may not be for them. If you're interested in trying it for yourself, there is a demo on the PlayStation and Nintendo stores, which will give you a small taste of what this is like. This leads me into my next area, tone. Tone is another factor that I believe is imperative to deciding whether AI The Somnium Files is a suitable purchase for you. Now in the UK, the game is rated an 18, and it's for a pretty good reason. As a game focusing on murder, you're going to find a lot of sensitive areas such as killing and blood. The game also has some areas that some players may find distressing. Now there were times I felt pretty uncomfortable. However, none of this is in an explicitly sexual way, so if you're worried about your parents walking in and seeing you ogling a bunch of naked anime girls bouncing around, you won't encounter that. Which is kinda surprising for a visual novel as far as I'm aware. That being said, there is a lot of innuendo in this game, and most of the male cast come off as perverts.
Hey, girl with the big tits.
Excuse me?
Shit, I said it to her face.
I want to run away and never look back.
So of course, there is going to be a dark and gritty tone throughout this game. The game also interjects a lot of humour into it, which is shown through some of the dialogue and the Somniums. However, some of this humour feels a little inappropriate. Some of it just portrays Date as a sleazy asshole, and often it can disrupt the serious moments in the game. Now this isn't to say I didn't find the game funny by any means. I actually laughed quite a lot. However, sometimes it just feels like it doesn't mix well. It's like I'm sitting here enjoying my roast beef dinner when suddenly the chef pops over and decides to pop some vanilla ice cream on top of it.
Fair.
Sure, I like both on their own, but it's a bit strange to have it mixed together. And that kinda sums up my impression of the game. I think it's good, but sometimes it feels a little marred by the random silly moments at inopportune moments. So if you're looking for a darker and grittier game, then this is surely it, but be prepared to deal with some weird and cheesy moments that might make you feel a little confused. Now much akin to other visual novels, the player will find that different routes they can take will lead to different endings. There is a lot of story to work through. Now I'm sure your time to finish it can be different from mine, but to complete the game, this took me roughly 30 hours. I've checked this through howlongtobeat.com, which shows around 24 hours to beat, and I've compared this to some of the other releases in September 2019, such as Borderlands 3, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, or Untitled Goose Game. You're getting a lot of hours compared to these games, so that's another area you may wish to consider. It also seems to be around the same amount of time as other visual novels such as Steins Gate, if not maybe just a few hours shorter. Price is another area you may wish to consider. I was fortunate enough to receive this game as a Christmas present, so I personally never paid for it. As a result, I admittedly don't have that restraint of thinking, Did I get enough out of what I paid for with this game? Now I have looked into the prices at present moment through Amazon, with the game being £34 on the PlayStation 4 and £43 on the Nintendo Switch. So if you are on the fence of this game, it may be worth waiting to see if it ever goes on sale. However, if you're a fan of visual novels, then I believe the £30 isn't too steep of a price for a genre you enjoy, and this will definitely be a good purchase for you. And with that, I've provided some of the information I believe will help you make a decision. I personally enjoyed the Somnium Files, and I certainly hope you will too. If you've played the game before, why not share your views in the game below? Did you love it or did you loathe it? Thank you for watching the first Noir Reservoir video of 2020 and also my first ever review. If you liked it or you feel it might help others, why not like it and share it? Now as mentioned, 2020 is starting off a little slow, but I'll be making more videos, so why not stay a while and subscribe for some more videos. So until next time guys, I'll catch you later. Bye bye!